Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. I keep saying it, and honestly, I'm not sure how much longer it's going to continue, but until it does stop, it seems like every single week right now, we are getting new information on Warzone 2 and Modern Warfare 2. The story continues today, my friends. We've got some new leaks, some new rumors on DMZ that's actually going to tie into multiplayer in Warzone 2, and also what is supposedly some Warzone 2 leaks that I'm a little bit skeptical about, at least when it comes to them being for Warzone 2. We'll talk about it, obviously, when we get to it in the video. As we break it all down today, though, if you enjoy the video at any point, let me know by dropping a like on it. It would be seriously appreciated. And if you're new here, or if you have not already subscribed, every day I got you covered with everything going on in COD. News, updates, leaks, rumors, loadouts. You're going to find it all right here. So feel free to sub with those notifications turned on. Now, to preface everything, because we're talking leaks and rumors, I'm sure you guys are used to hearing about this now. This is all leaks and rumors. Nothing is set in stone, nothing is official, so take everything we're talking about here today with a grain of salt. It's very possible some of this ends up changing. It's very possible some of it gets scrapped. It's also very possible none of this changes and it makes its way into the final games here later on this year or early next year. But as always with leaks and rumors, nothing is 100% official until it is official from Call of Duty. Now, initially here, I want to talk about some new leaks from the Ghost of Hope. We've talked about him several times on the channel. Pretty credible when it comes to insider information, various leaks and data mined info, stuff like that. He recently talked quite a bit about DMZ and how we can actually see some, interconnectivity, if you will, between DMZ's gameplay rewards and then Warzone and Modern Warfare 2. There were several different aspects of DMZ gameplay that he talked about on Twitter a few days back, including how it's going to have a marketplace in game where you can actually buy and trade items. You can end up getting skins and blueprints in DMZ that you can then use in multiplayer in Warzone 2 as well. So you'll actually be rewarded across all modes for completing and trading up to or potentially buying certain items specifically in that DMZ marketplace, which I think is pretty cool. Also, if you're unaware, DMZ is that rumored third mode. It's basically going to be like Tarkov, but Call of Duty. Another interesting note from Hope here is that there's apparently going to be separate modes for PvP and then PvE. Obviously, PvE is fighting AI, it's fighting bots. PvP is fighting player to player, person to person, basically online multiplayer. I was sort of under the impression that it'd be all in the same mode. Sometimes you could run into other players, but there would still be bots and AI on the map. Perhaps there will be options for both, and then that's just like standard gameplay, I guess, maybe, that features a mixture of the two. But also, in addition to having PvE separate modes, there will apparently be offline support for this as well. So in case you don't have internet but you still want to play, you can play that PvE mode, basically just giving some gameplay focused more towards that sort of niche community that can just play the game very, very casually and not even require an internet connection, or a good internet connection at that. Then lastly, when it comes to these DMZ specific leaks, there's apparently going to be 4 maps in development. We've talked about that a little bit previously, but amongst those 4 maps, there's going to be dynamic weather and then day and night cycles as well, which I imagine if it's available in DMZ as a part of Modern Warfare 2, it's also something we could possibly see make its way into multiplayer for certain maps, and maybe even Warzone 2 as well, which I think would be a really, really cool dynamic to have, and something that would definitely freshen up gameplay and spice things up here and there. I'm hoping to see that not just as a DMZ exclusive, basically. Now, moving on, this next bit of information actually comes from a video from Nero Cinema. I think earlier on last week is when it ended up dropping, and I wanted to give it a few days to see if more information would maybe come out about this, because these leaks that we're talking about are apparently in regards to Warzone 2, but it seems very weird. I want to preface this next set of leaks by saying that, because as we go through them, you'll probably share the same sentiment, I would imagine. So for starters, Nero was saying that this was from a source that came directly to him and sort of talked to him about various things that he's seen with the game. Loadouts are indeed back. I'm not really surprised by that. Loadouts have sort of made Warzone what it is. However, they're apparently going to work differently in quote-unquote Warzone 2. They're going to be locked behind these things called strongholds, which you'll actually have to infiltrate, complete an objective like defusing a bomb or killing some AI bots, and then you'll get your loadout. I'm not so sure I'm on board with that. I don't think a lot of the community would be on board with that if that's in fact a thing. The community was up in arms about having to wait an extra few minutes to get a loadout before when Caldera dropped. Having to do an objective to get it, I'm not so sure that would fly. But more on that here in a bit. Ground loot is apparently going to be similar to Warzone, where weapons have certain attachments equipped on them, and for actual weapon builds, you can have 5 attachments equipped. There will be 8 slots, but you can only choose 5 at a time, just like back in MW 2019. In my opinion, the best way to go about it, just because it's simple but also offers enough variety per gun. Apparently, pro perks are going to be returning. I imagine this is also going to be a thing in MW2 multiplayer, where I'm not sure if you'll have to complete certain challenges to get those pro perks. I would imagine that's probably the case, but you'll have a base version of the perk, then the pro perk is upgraded with maybe an extra bonus ability or something stacked on top of it, just like what we saw back when those used to be a thing in Call of Duty. Here's one that really makes me sort of scratch my head. Apparently there's going to be a bag system, and I'm not talking like for looting like back in Blackout where you had to go into an inventory bag to get loot, which was very slow and kind of obnoxious. This is instead apparently like an inventory system that you can manage. You'll have a backpack per se, where it has 200 slots or 200 weight. You could put a gun in there that weighs 170, then have, you know, something like some nades or something. I don't know. That to me seems a little complex for a Call of Duty Battle Royale. Again, we'll talk about why I think that's weird here in just a moment. There was also some talk of this new map. Apparently High Rise was a location on this map that was tested. Take that for what it is. We've talked about how there is a rumor going around that a lot of this new Warzone map is going to be old MW2 and like Modern Warfare in general locations. So Terminal, High Rise, Favela, stuff like that. That would line up with what we've heard before. It was also noted that Verdansk also could return at one point in time as a separate map entirely. We're not going to see a repeat map as the main map, though, it seems like, for Warzone 2. In addition to that, we're also going to see a firing range added in. We've talked about this a little bit in the past as well. The devs have also expressed interest in this in previous calls that I've been able to sit in with them, where they said, yeah, we want to see that. It's a perfect place to test out damage values, certain setups, recoil plots, all sorts of stuff like that. So I really do hope we end up seeing that, because that's a much needed feature. It makes testing everything for you guys a whole lot easier. Then lastly here real quick, apparently no slide canceling, which actually goes against some information that we've heard previously that slide canceling would be in MW2. And I'm a little bit torn on this because the devs have expressed their frustrations with slide canceling. It is a broken mechanic for what it's worth, because it resets your tac sprints. So hearing that is a bit surprising. I'm not really going to take that for anything too crazy right now, though, because that's something that could easily change after seeing player feedback in like the beta or the alpha, you know, so it is what it is. Now, all that being said, if we take into consideration all these leaks we just talked about, loadouts being locked behind strongholds, you know, an inventory system, stuff like that, it doesn't really sound like Battle Royale to me. Instead, I feel like that fits a lot more with what DMZ is in that Tarkov-esque mode. The Ghost of Hope also, who, keep in mind, he didn't talk about these leaks, he talked about the DMZ specific leaks mainly. He ended up saying on Twitter after this batch of leaks came out from that video that this stuff would make a whole lot more sense not in Warzone, but in DMZ, in that Tarkov mode. And I agree entirely. It just seems a little strange. They clearly have a working formula with Warzone here, and changing some pretty drastic things there, like the loadouts, adding in something more complex like an inventory space, seems like it'd work a lot better in something like DMZ, where the objective is to loot certain things, gather up certain things, then extract, right? Like it just makes sense to me. That's 2 and 2 adding up a lot more. So we'll have to wait and see, obviously. That said, if this information that we got here is correct and will come to fruition for Warzone 2, it's a bit worrying in my opinion, because I'm not really super on board with some of those features that we talked about. But as we get any new information, as we get any new leaks or rumors regarding this stuff, MW2, Warzone 2, anything like that, you already know I got you covered right here, so stick it here for that and everything else going on in COD. Make sure you're subscribed with those notifications turned on. And if you enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like on it. It would be seriously appreciated. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.